Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Intune protocols, right? So what are the different protocols that Microsoft Intune uses and how it works, right? So those are the protocols which are being used heavily within Intune and how it works on different communications between Intune as a service provider and the device, which is a client, right? So it's a communication between client and server, right? So how that communication is happening and over the protocols, right? So you might be wondering, or you might have seen that how the Intune actually talks to the devices, right? Is it magic? No, it is not magic, and it uses a solid, secure protocols doing all the work under the hood, right? So I'm going to break it down in the separate topics, each of those, and in the plain English so that we can understand how it is going to be working and how it works, especially, right? So first, before moving into that one, let's talk about what is Intune, right? Intune is Microsoft's cloud-based endpoint management solution, right? That helps us to manage Windows devices, macOS, Android, and iOS devices, and more from one kind of unified platform or portal, right? But the real question is, how does Intune communicate with the devices behind the scenes, right? And I'm going to demystify that in this video so that you can understand it better as well as you would learn more on it, right? So let's talk about first protocol. So there are number of protocols and all those protocols are being used and those are working in actions as well. So I'm going to show you uh, that as well upon the protocol discussion. And then I'm going to show you how we can verify and check those protocols communication between devices as an endpoint and Intune as a server side communication, right? So let's talk about few core protocols. Those are used by Microsoft Intune, right? So let's say the first protocol is HTTPS, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. And at the end, it's a secure, right? So HTTPS, right? So this is the primary protocol which is being used for communications between devices and majority of the services between client services and the device, client as a device and server as an Intune side, right? Intune uses HTTP for all the exchanges between client devices and Intune service endpoints, which is, of course, it is backed by Microsoft Azure, right? And everything, whatever you do, be it application deployment, be it any configuration policies, everything is being hosted and created within the Azure blob storage in the backend, right? And it ensures the encrypted communication over TCP port 443 so that it has all the secure connections and secure communication between client and server side as well, right? And it is used for many other different scenarios and many other different communications between client and server side, which includes policy delivery, application deployments, compliance reporting, device inventory synchronization, as well as device check-ins as well. So these are the few examples I'm giving here, but there are so many different use cases and different uses that is happening with TCP port 443, which is going to be, of course, encrypted communication over the network, right? So let's talk about next protocol, which is OMA-DA, OMA-DM. What is it called? It is called as Open Mobile Alliance Device Management, right? So this is the protocol which was developed by one of the organization, and that organization has developed this protocol in order for us to manage the devices. And this is the main and original protocol, which is heavily been used for device management especially, and it has all the capabilities of to manage devices along with its capabilities to push out the policies, the configurations, then application deployments, and so many other different scenarios, right? So this protocol specifically can be a separate video as well because there are so many things to cover and discuss, and I can also talk more on that differently, right? So I can make a separate video on that one, and that's the one of the protocol where device management was introduced by this specific protocol, not only within the Microsoft ecosystem using Intune, but there are so many other third-party platforms and solutions. Those are also being using those are also using this kind of or this protocol in order to manage devices and all other its capabilities there. Right. So it's a backbone for modern device managements, right? So it's an industry standard protocol designed for remote device configurations, policy delivery, remote device swiping, resetting device, and compliance check-ins. And these are the few capabilities, but there are so many. As yes, if we were to look into the device management portal from Intune side, there are so many other areas where we can use all those capabilities differently for devices like Windows 10, 11, Android, iOS, and those are leveraging OMA-DM using HTTPS protocol. The fun fact of this is that Windows uses OMA-DM as its native protocol for Intune MDM because that's purely native with Intune and Windows operating system, right? So next is synchronization markup language, right? So it's a data format used within OMA-DM, right? Which is XML-based language that structures device management tasks and which allows us to enforce and run different commandlets, which includes apply policy, install application, wipe device, and report statuses, right? So this way we can definitely use, and this is going to behind the scene, which is going to work with OMA DM protocol, right? Then there is another one, which is a Windows notification service for Windows devices. There's another one for Apple push notification service for Apple iOS and Mac devices, and Firebase Cloud Messaging, which is also called as FCM. This is for Android devices as well. So these are the different protocols which are used for push notifications between client and server from Intune and the devices and endpoints in the context of Windows, iOS, macOS, and Android devices, right? And these push services wakes up the device to initiate the synchronization process whenever device is up and running next time. It could be, let's say, device was turned off for a while, and once the device is turned on, it is going to push the notification from device from Intune to device, and device is going to be checked in with the policies and configurations of whatever it is going to be pushed, and make sure it has all the changes or all the policies and configurations that we are enforcing, and it's going to be simply showing it out there, right? So next is going to be something like what are the different scenarios where we can leverage Intune as MDM, right? And I'm going to give you few of those scenarios where what we can do, what we are able to do it using Intune and its capabilities, which includes enrollment stages, policy assignments, notification triggers with the WNS, APMs, and FCMs, right? And then OMA-DM syncs and reporting and monitoring. And there are some of the security layers as well, right? So which includes TLS encryption, Azure AD handles the authentication and token-based access controls, which includes all the authentication and all the different conditional access and all other those conditions and controls, right? Along with that, we would also enforce the identity checks, device health checks, and compliance before allowing access to different layers, levels and layers of devices using zero trust compliance and zero trust policies if we are going to follow that one, right? And there might be a question why this architecture, right? So why this architecture? Maybe because of we wanted to do the cross-platform compatibility with Windows, macOS, iOS, and Android. And many organizations are following the same practice. They are leveraging the Intune for whole and soul, including all these major platforms, Windows, macOS, Android, iOS. And it is also scalable with the cloud native designs and solutions that it can provide us, which includes security first, providing HTTPS along with authentication. OMA-DM is industry standard security protocol or security protocol, right? So that's something which is going to be used, and it's going to make sure devices management is appropriately handled, right? It's also be efficient, which uses push services, prevents on the device battery drains and excessive pollings. Pollings means when there is a device was active after some time and it is going to poll to the device, and poll would be delivered to the device, and it's going to check if the device has the appropriate policies configured, And if there are new policies on the Intune side and the server side, then that policy is going to be delivered on that respective device. So that's going to be a polling on the device side, right? So now you got an idea about this one, right? So Microsoft Intune is not just talking with the devices randomly. It has highly structured conversation between device and being Intune using HTTPS for the secure transport layers, right? OMA-DM and SyncML, which is sync markup language for device management commands, along with push notifications and services to wake up the calls, for wake up calls, not the wake up calls, right? So it's going to be simply checking us or checking the device to if the device is up and running, device has new policies configured, new setup is configured, and if it does not have any, then those policies will be delivered to the devices, right? So this is how it is going to be making sure device has all of those capabilities delivered, right? So now I would jump onto the demo on the virtual machine and would show you something around where we can check and how we can check whether device was uh, how device is communicating between Intune and Jamp, not Jamp, Intune and the client as an end user or client application or client devices, right? So that's what I'm going to show you. Let me jump onto the virtual machine, but before that, let me log into the virtual machine here. So it's ready for demo, and we can go through it. All right. Here. All right. So I'm logged in, and I would simply jump on to the device. There are different ways using Graph API as well as PowerShell script where we can run those scripts and see how device is communicating with Intune and how that is also being used. So there are total 4 ways, and out of that, I would show you device management logs and event logs. There is another way which is also using network traffic monitors, and so by using network traffic monitor, we have to look into the some of the uh, communications, how it is communicating with the devices, right? So let me do one thing here. Let me first, I would simply go to devices. That is screen, right? So here's the screen I have shared. And here I'm logged into one of the Windows machine, right? So from here, I would simply go to event logs, and this is a Windows events logs, right? And from here, the event viewer, let it open here, and then we should be able to see it. Okay, since it is slow, so it should come up faster. It's trying to load. Not sure why it is taking time, but it should be showing up here because this is a virtual machine and it is up and running. Still, it's trying to adding snap-ins. This will be because of opening this first time, and that is why it is just taking time to add it. Okay. All right, I think it has opened multiple windows here. So I think I would close one or two. So it has opened so many. So let it open. Let's go ahead here under the applications and service logs because that's something we need to see. And by using this method, so now I have this virtual machine with me, right? And this way I can simply log in as an administrator with and then go to event viewers tab, and from there I can just try to find it, right? But when we don't have any devices as an administrator, right? Then there's another way from Intune portal. We can simply go back and select the diagnostics logs, and from there we can analyze those logs, right? So to analyze those logs will be first collected from the device first, and then those logs would be showing up, right? So what it says is it's not responding. No, this is something I would just cancel it. All right. So here it says that we have this one, which is going to be Microsoft slash Windows slash device management. And this is a longer string, so I'll expand it to see the details. It says enterprise diagnostics provider and then inventory agent, right? So now here you can see that it has all those events registered and created showing up here, which says default event. So this is for one of the event. Let's say I click on here. Here it is going to give us the complete details. It says harvester policy saved successfully, and then you can see the version number, documented or document ID, and all of that stuff. So probably I will just maximize this small window so that we can see the details, right? So this is the device name, right? And then you can see all the details as well. So this is how it is going to show us complete details about that device, right? And this is one of the ways, but there is also another way, and I would show you there are so many different levels of events. Those will be triggered and showing up over here, right? So let's say I believe is going to be the very first event source created successfully. So this was the first log for event, and was I believe okay, it is on 18th April. So I believe this is not the first one. There would be this is today's log. So those are the different logs. Events will be created and stored up over here, and we can check if it is going to show us the details, right? So let me go back to here and policy syncs. So I'll just search policy syncs or something like that, and then we might need to find something like properties or stars. Which click on this find button and I will just try to search policy and next. Okay, so here's the policy sync event, right? So similarly, we can see that there would be similar different events. So this is received payload is being processed in pipe instance 2, right? Here IPC server instance 5 is waiting for connection. So the policy sync event, right? So these are the different events. Those would be happening and tracked down during communication between device and Intune, right? So this is the endpoint where we can see all those events, right? So now this is one of the way to see and analyze those events and check. I'll show you another way of doing and seeing this one. Let's close it. I think it has open multiple windows. So I'll just go to access, work or school accounts. And from here, be able to so from here we would be gathering diagnostics logs, and in the diagnostics logs file, there's one of the file which is going to give us the complete details. So I'll just scroll it down here and it's going to show us communication happening between Intune and the device, right? So let's scroll down and create a report. So export this report. So at this location, we have to go back and here the file explorer, and from there we need to go to user's profile and then respective folders. I will use a public folder. So let it open here. Open as the public folder here, then public download, public download, it's a public documents. Perfect. So here's the log folder, which is only diagnostics, and it is going to show us the details. So this is the report, right? And let's open it up here. I'll just open it up the Edge browser. So here you can see that it's a Windows 11, but it is showing Windows 10 Pro, right? And then here is the connection information between the last sync was done at this time, date and time. Then there is activist ID, then Azure ID joined, user token was paid. So all of that details along with device management account. So this is account UID, then flag, OMA-DM protocol version is, so this is the protocol where we can see which protocol it is being used, right? And then enterprise DMID, this one. So this is going to be unique for each device as well. Then certificates, these are the certificates will be delivered from Intune side to check the root certification authority, right? And then enrolled configuration sources and target sources. So these are the different sources with its IDs assigned uniquely to each of those, right? Including all the steps, provisioning, WM average, domain types, update policies, and everything. So this is going to give us the complete. Also, it's going to give us managed policies, which policies are assigned on a device level or user level or whatever it is, right? So all those policies would also be showing up over here. So let's scroll down below so that we can see all of the different. So these are the different policies which are already enforced on this device and would show or are applied on the device platform. Let's scroll down a bit and see what all things we can see more over here. As I said, it is going to show us everything, which policies are assigned, which are not assigned. Also, it helps us to identify whether policy was successfully assigned, was there any issue, or how we can troubleshoot it up, right? So that we can make sure it is issue with the device or if it is issue with the specific platform, right? So maybe a respective device is not supported for the policies or there's a conflict between the device and that, right? And that's why it is going to be, or it's just simply not working as expected. Also, you can see that managed applications, this is the inventory agent, which is enforced through this one, right? And then GPCSE wrapper policy. So this is the policy which is going to be created and enforced one. Then you can see that there is a local admin password solution policy was deployed as well. So this was the default value and this is the current value that is set up. And the policy notes whichever was added during the policy creation. And here is the blocked policy, right, which says the policies that were blocked from GP engine because MDM has configured the equivalent policy. That is why this is something giving a notification. Then there is unmanaged policy section, which is going to show us policies which are under management for any target or resources, right? So this is how the complete report is going to show us, right? And then basis on that, it is going to give us complete details. Also, if we go ahead and do again or ask for the same report again, I'll just find this one. And probably we can go back to the original folder. Open it up again. It is going to be the same report. I believe it is did not add it or it just replaced the same report again. So this is how we can check and verify which reports or which protocols it is being using, right? And then how the policy things are happening between client and service or server, right? So yeah, this is how, or this is what I wanted to show you in this video and talk about Intune protocols and how those happens or how those communicates between client and server, right? So yeah, that's all for this video. Let me know if you have seen any of these kind of situations where you try to figure out or troubleshoot any issues which were facing by device enrollment or any policies were not delivered because of the policy or the protocols or the device compatibility issues. And there could be any issue until and unless you go ahead and check the event logs or the report from the device side and also collect the diagnostics from the device side and then export it and analyze it and just try to figure it out and resolve those issues, right? So let me know in the comments below and I will be happy to answer those questions and would be help to be able to help you on that as well. So yeah, that's all for this video. Please do like this video and share with your friends and colleagues. Also subscribe to the channel so that you can learn new things on every new day or new video because that's what I'm going to do and make you learn all the new topics, new areas and improve on your skills and communications and everything together, right? So yep, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.